Welcome everyone to our podcast about Avengers Infinity War.
Hey there.
Hey, so at the time of recording, we saw the film
2 days ago.
2 days ago, and by the time this uploads, it could be even 3. We just thought we would just like to talk about it because it's been on our minds all this time.
And there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about.
A lot.
Now, discretion, this is completely full of spoilers. We're gonna tear apart this film, every single minuscule bit, and possibly go into the next film. So we're just warning you right now, if you have not seen the film, please do not listen to this.
Massive spoiler warning.
Yeah. Unless you really don't care, then I don't understand why you wouldn't care. Okay. Well, first thing we're going to start off with is we're just going to start talking about what we thought before the film. The hype surrounding this and what we were expecting to see. I don't know about you, but I just could not picture at all how this film was going to play out. Of course, we both don't watch trailers, so we didn't get any glimpses from that. But even still, it's just... I did not understand how they were going to pace it correctly with a second film on the way, how they were going to end it, if it was going to be a cliffhanger or not. I don't know. What do you think?
I was just expecting everyone to die. Or maybe he wouldn't even get all the gems in the one movie. I mean, that could have made sense because the movie takes place over 2 days. And this is the biggest spoiler. He gets all those gems. Whoa. In 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. He does get all the Infinity Stones in the first film, which I think is very good, because of how it ended, and we'll get to that. But it actually, the pacing is not too bad. I mean, of course the pacing's all over the place, but there's not much of a better job they could have done, so that makes sense. I was just hoping that each hero would get enough screen time with each hero, and we sort of learned that doesn't really happen. Each hero does get enough screen time, I think, but not enough screen time with each other. Like Cap and Tony don't even meet once throughout the whole film.
Which was pretty much what I was waiting for. Because I went back and watched the trailers and I noticed there what seemed to be like an interaction between Cap and Tony. And that wasn't in the film at all. And Tony was kind of off in space the entire movie.
Yeah.
And Cap was being edgy Dark Lord.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's so I just had no idea what to expect when going in. The hype was still through the roof though, and which was kind of annoying because too much hype ruins a film. But on the whole, everything seemed to be just sort of in the air, and it's like mystical. Like this film shouldn't even exist.
I mean, it's 10 years of build up.
10 years, yeah.
Sort of. We've just been waiting for this. Finally happened, and now I'm dead inside.
Yeah. Okay, so the very first thing that happened for me that I found very shocking, I don't know about you, but just the opening Marvel crawl had no music.
No, it didn't. It was very ominous.
Yeah. And that was like, a little unsettling. But that, it's like, oh, that's cool, Yeah. I would have loved to have heard the fanfare. Anyway, so the film opens up on Thor's ship from the end of Ragnarok, and everything is just decimated. And that was the first thing I thought of was just like how disappointing that is. Or not like, it's like, oh, that sucks. No, I mean, like, it's just so sad to think about when they've just come out of Thor Ragnarok, which was all happy and floaty, and then Korg's like, oh, Mick's dead, and then suddenly everyone's
dead. Okay, so my biggest thing for that scene is, where the hell is Valkyrie? Where the hell is Korg? Okay, 2 very important parts of Thor Ragnarok, and just gone.
I mean, the obvious assumption is that they're just dead. But
I would have liked to have seen a body.
Yeah, at least the body to give
or
us
an
rock. Idea. Yeah. Yeah, just a singular rock on the ground. Could you imagine a Hulk and Korg team up taking on Thanos?
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
And then Thanos just punches Korg and smashes into a million rocks. Oh my god, just before Thanos fist collide with him, he's like, oh news! That would have been such a fitting end, but we didn't see that.
Poor Korg.
I should make a new theory of how Korg should have gone out. Okay. Yes. So, already people are dying left and right. Okay. So, well, first Hulk has a battle against Thanos 1-on-1. That was awesome.
That
really
was
cool.
pretty good. Yeah.
And then Heimdall sends him off back to Earth. And then Heimdall dies. Unfortunately.
Which is very disappointing because Heimdall is like the best.
Yeah, he is. And that sort of blew everyone's theory of Heimdall having the Soul Stone completely out of the water. It's like, oh. Plus, because Loki had the Tesseract and gave it to Thanos, him getting 2 Infinity Stones in the span of a couple minutes.
Then technically having 3.
Having 3, like in the very first scene of the movie, is like that's almost too fast.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they kind of skipped over the fact that he'd already had the Power Stone. Like, of course I would have liked to have seen it, but I don't think it needed any more than that one explanation. And the first thing I thought was like, okay, good. Like, we can move on to some more important stuff that we haven't seen yet because we've deleted a scene that we didn't really need.
Yeah.
Now, next, after Loki gives Thanos the Tesseract, and he's got Thor chained up. This is... I didn't expect it to happen so early.
It's... This is what basically started the emotional downfall of me. Loki... I'm sorry to say this. Loki's dead.
He is.
And he went out like a light.
He was... It was so brutal as well.
It was a good death. Like, you don't see many deaths like that was really oomph and sad.
Yeah. That was very disappointing to see. And like how he just dropped his body right in front of Thor as well. Oh,
like we've gone so many movies with Loki and he's faked his death and he's come back. But in this instance, it just seems like he's properly dead.
Yeah, he's gone. Unless, some time mumbo jumbo, but they can't do that for every character. He really does feel like that he is dead.
May come back in Avengers 4, but don't know how.
Yeah. We'll talk about Avengers 4 at the end. Okay, what else? I mean, Thanos has 2 Infinity Stones now. He sends Hulk back to Earth.
Yeah, Heimdall sends Hulk back to Earth using the black magics.
The black magics. Summoning the Bifrost. Well, I guess we'll move on to Hulk crashing into the Sanctum. Okay. This is so cool. Like, out of all the places he could have crashed, of course he crashed right through the window of the Sanctum and in front of Doctor Strange. Anyway.
And in that scene, it was such a smooth transition of him going from normal street clothes into his costume. Like, you hardly notice it. And as I was watching it, I was like, okay. And then it just goes. I'm like, whoa.
It's so clever.
It's so nice. Okay.
And then Tony's talking about the dream he had.
Yeah.
It was so real. It's so real. Doctor Strange shows up, and we finally see the facial hair bros for the first time.
Mustache bros.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, this is a silly magician," and then Banner walks out from behind him. Okay, and this is like everything's starting to come together. And like I was like really just hoping like he was gonna call Steve.
Yeah.
Come on, just call him, but he didn't. Which was a little disappointing.
It's good to see that we've still got that fallout from Civil War. It's still going on, and it's been 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
So they're still feeling the effects of that, which will be a big factor in potentially Avengers 4.
Yeah, potentially.
There wasn't much in the way of Tony and Cap meeting up in this.
No, there was nothing. But you're right. I'm glad that the effects of Civil War are still taking place. And it's also why I'm so happy this is a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be. And I'll explain more of why I am very happy this is a two-parter later on. Okay, the first battle starts. Let's just get to that. This is the first time we see the Bleeding Edge armor.
Bleeding Edge. By far, the best suit of armor Tony has had.
It's just it's like it's like the magical MacGuffin, you know. It's just like whatever he wants is just there.
It's there.
Like every sort of suit has sort of seen a periodical upgrade, and sort of ones is like he sort of explains how he goes through it, and it's sort of the next logical step. This one, they're just like, you know what, screw it. Let's just forget of anything that could be physically possible. Let's just do whatever, you know. But no, it works. I think it works like very well for this film specifically.
Such a nice suit. It's got a booster so you can head up into space further. I'm assuming it's got some sort of like space suit style inbuilt to it.
Yeah.
Oxygen rebreather. Cool. But as he gets onto the ship, it also has like a super magnet that was actually holding him to the ship.
Yeah, it's literally just like whatever he thinks of, he can just create. And like later on, we see that like when he's fighting Thanos, and like he's running out of suit, and he has to pull something from his leg to create a blade because he's running out. That's cool.
He has to. He's running out of nanobots, so he has to just kind of scrounge as much together as he can.
Isn't it funny how remember when we were in the cinema and he put his legs together to create one blaster? That was in the trailer. Like, I lost my mind at that. Like, whoa, he can do that? Like, are you kidding me? But no, that apparently everyone already knew that. It's so dumb. Oh, and the next scene I'm going to talk about, Spider-Man's introduction. That entire scene, apart from Stan Lee's cameo, was just released online. Of, like, Ned created a distraction. He's like, we're all going to die as a spaceship! And then he gets out and he just swings over. That was already online as, like, a Spider-Man introduction trailer.
That's fairly disappointing.
That's... Why?
I'm so glad I don't watch trailers. Or any spoilers.
Ned's entire scene is online for anyone to see. Why?
That's all we get to see in Ned, but...
That's the dumbest thing. Stanley's cameo, I guess.
It was very early on.
Yeah, heaps early on. It makes sense why. There's not a lot of places he could be. He can't be in Wakanda. Or I guess he can be in space, but there's not much up in space.
He can just be kind of wherever.
So I guess it makes sense to do it on Earth when they had the chance. Anyway, Spider-Man swings in.
You get to see his Spidey senses for the first time.
Yeah.
Like his proper...
You can actually see it. Yeah. I think this scene here when Iron Man, Spidey, and Doctor Strange are just sort of fighting, and Banner's like, "Come on, Hulk." That was the first time I really felt like it was like a joined universe.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, oh, they're just having to have a battle, and then Spider-Man just swings by and joins in. That was the first time I really felt that.
We've got this actual universe where all these characters do exist. I mean, sure, the TV series are part of the MCU, but where are they? I know they don't want to incorporate them into the MCU because it's very standalone from the TV series, which build on a lot of things. But if you got a random Daredevil showing up being like, yo, I still can't see. Or Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Danny Rand. Danny. And if they all showed up, then that would have been one hell of a battle. But it would have defeated the purpose of the Avengers and all the movies.
It really doesn't make sense merging the TV shows with the films. I remember wanting it like ages ago. But that's just because I thought, oh, it'd be so cool, you know? But, like, when you think about it, it just doesn't make sense. I'd rather keep them separate. It's... Because I was telling you about, like, the top 10 questions we have after Infinity War. One of them was, like, where are the Defenders? It's like, who cares?
Maybe they're all died in their own respective TV series.
Yeah. Who knows?
I'm down for that.
Yeah, maybe they all disintegrated as well. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So we're all on the spaceship now. Cool. What I think we're going to do is, because it's really difficult to talk about this film, because there's so many different threads and we jump across, we're gonna start trying to talk about the specific
character arcs.
Yeah, character arcs. Like there's like a good 4, 5, maybe 6 of them.
That's a decent amount.
And we're gonna start talking about all of them individually. So the first one we're gonna talk about is Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man's arc, because I think it's one of the most prominent ones in the film, and easiest to follow along. Okay, so we're all in the spaceship,
and they're with one of the agents of the Dark Order. Black Order?
Yes, it's Ebony Moore, I think. I don't know. I didn't look him up. I just sort of...
Yeah, because spoilers aren't a thing that we like to avoid. We don't know exact names of all these extra characters. So
yeah.
Gluing it now.
I believe it's Ebony Moore. Correct me if I'm wrong. $10 says I'm right.
If I can find it. Bloody hell.
Okay, I'll speak.
Yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite scenes, I don't know about you, but was when Iron Man found out that Spider-Man had stolen away on board. Oh yeah, Iron Spider suit, by the way. He's got that now.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that. But they were having banter, and the cloak in the background is just like, huh? And like imitating them. And just
joining in with the conversation.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was really funny. I can't remember any of the jokes from that specific scene, but I was just looking at the cloak the whole time.
Yeah.
Because he was like looking back at Tony and looking at Peter, and then like I can't tell if he was like actually imitating them at one point, but it was just too funny.
It's such a good job.
And then like just down below, Doctor Strange is getting like tortured or something, and they're just laughing at each other. But yeah, like okay, so Doctor Strange is just so
Ebony Moore.
Ebony Moore, I got it right.
Damn.
He's so serious, you know? Nothing's a joke for him. He's like, this is that, like, we have to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
And I just find that a really interesting contrast to Tony's character. He's like a Steve to Tony, you know, in this film. And seeing him, like, tortured because he's protecting the Mind Stone, it's like, oh, it's just so deep. I just wasn't expecting it to be so...
Wait, Time Stone?
Yeah,
who are we talking about being tortured?
Doctor Strange.
Oh, he has the Time Stone.
Yeah, he's got.
You said Mind Stone.
Did I say mine?
Yeah.
I was positive.
Okay, whatever.
No, I probably said mind. I just in my mind I said time.
Yeah, good enough.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. He has the time stone. Now you got it in my.
Aha.
He's got the time stone, and they're trying to get it. And then the aliens reference. This is the first time we get to see the Iron Spider legs.
The legs.
They were cool.
There was a GIF somebody edited from Civil War where Spider-Man made an appearance, and they edited in all the tentacles and his suit, and we're just like, oh, this is really cool. But once you actually get down and look at it frame by frame, you can see that it's very poorly put together.
It's a little all over the place.
But it was back then that we saw the Iron Spider suit.
Yeah, just like in like concept, you know, just by a fan, and it was just so cool. Like actually, just sort of seeing it just pop out just like that. It's like, oh, cool, like the spider legs. Anyway, Ebony Moore was gone.
Yeah, he just kind of flew out in space, and that was the end of him.
I mean, that was really good, I think, because he was a little too OP.
Oh my god, he was incredible.
Like, it was just ridiculously to the point where it's like, oh, that's a little too much. Anyway, they're on the spaceship. Heading off to Titan. I like the whole banter where it's like, oh, I'm Peter, by the way, and it's like Doctor Strange, and it's using made up names. I'm Spider-Man. That was good. Anyway, okay, so we've just crash landed on Titan.
Yes.
Now the Guardians show up. They do. And they think that they're part of Thanos' army because they're on Thanos' ship. And I think... I didn't like Drax in the last film.
Guardians 2, Drax was unnecessary for a big part.
He was too much. He was trying too hard. But I think they finally did a good job of bringing him back, and he's funny again. And...
We'll go to that in the Guardians arc.
Yeah. But the the one joke that he made right here was like, "Where's Gamora?" And he's like, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? And he's like, "I'll do you one better. Why Gamora?" And it's just like, what? The whole cinema was just losing it at that point.
Drax just had to have an input into that conversation. It's unnecessary. It doesn't work for the conversation. But you know what? We'll just take it.
It almost doesn't even work from a Drax character standpoint. It's just like, it makes no sense for him to say it, but he said it. Anyway, now they're all friends.
Yeah.
Apparently they can all just breathe on Titan. That's the thing that they can do.
Yeah. A lot of... if you notice throughout the movie... They can breathe in space. They have oxygen just seemingly everywhere they go. So that was the most probably improbable thing that I had from that. But
besides besides the magic, the nanotech armor, Wakanda vibranium.
I'm totally down for that.
Yeah. The Infinity Stones themselves controlling.
They're a thing. They are always a thing. They've been there technically since the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought because, like, Tony could breathe in his armor.
Yeah.
Spider-Man could breathe in his new Iron Spider. Doctor Strange would cast some spell for him to be able to hold oxygen. Yep. I thought that's what they were going to do. But I guess not. I guess they can just breathe.
And Titan must have oxygen.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't have any plants and it's kind of decimated.
So they're just messing around, trying to form a plan. Doctor Strange has that really cool, like, looking into the future bit.
Yeah,
where he's,
that was
like,
good.
freaking out. That freaked me out. I'm like, what are you doing?
And he sees 14 million possible futures. And only one of them they survive. And only one of them they win.
Little cliche.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, well, they don't win.
They don't.
So it actually... I'm okay with him saying that because they don't win.
You keep thinking, okay, there's one possibility that they could win. Maybe that'll be this universe, but wasn't.
So a whole bunch of other stuff happens in the film. Thanos gets a bunch of other Infinity Gems, but again, we're just focusing on just this arc at the moment. So Thanos shows up. I believe he has 4 of them now.
He has 4 of them.
And
he has 2 more left. So the Time Stone and the Mind Stone.
Yep. This is absolutely my favorite part of the film.
Best
hands
battle.
down. It was mostly because of Doctor Strange. Okay, Doctor Strange is my favorite character. I love him. And the reason why I love him is not because I think his costume design is just brilliant. It's because he's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do next. Iron Man, pew pew pew, fly. Spider-Man, pew pew, webs. Star-Lord, pew pew, guns. But
I mean, that's true.
But with Doctor Strange, who knows? He had like those red beams, which have a name in the comics, that were like so like forceful and deadly.
Yeah, they destroyed the platforms they were standing on.
Then he cloned himself like 100 times and all whipped Thanos into holding him down.
Yeah, then he used the Infinity Stone. The Reality Stone to like clear that to be like, yes, this is the reality.
Yeah. Like, it's just, and like, who knows what he's gonna do? It's just so cool. And then at one point he gets his cape to grab onto his gauntlet, which a ripped cape.
Rip cape.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
But during that battle, a lot of things go on. But you can see he's pushing the mirror dimension at him. Then Thanos basically shatters that and turns it into a black hole and sends it back at
That's another thing. It's just like, who knows what's going to happen. Okay. So the end of the battle, everyone seems to be sort of knocked out and hit hard. But hold on. I love the bit where Star-Lord was running and Strange was making platforms for him to run on.
He's like, woo.
And then he's like, boom, and he gives him the finger and like jumps backwards into a portal. That was awesome. Good. Oh, okay.
I've seen a gif of him jumping back, and that was all. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, now I know.
Now you know.
That's gonna happen.
And then Thanos grabs the moon as well.
Oh, such a show of fucking power.
Yeah.
Like, this is raw energy, and then bam, an entire moon is actually just crashing down onto the freaking planet.
What's so good about this fight is that it's not like you remember in Pacific Rim, the first one, when not the second one?
Yep.
The second one. We're going to talk about that. The first one, when he pulled out his sword at the very end.
Yep.
Like, none of that sort of happens in this film.
No.
You know what I mean? Because, like, of course, Thanos could have grabbed the moon at the very beginning, but it's obvious he didn't feel like he needed to.
No.
He was already beating them pretty well. And then suddenly, after he realizes that they're hitting him good, he's like, oh, and then he goes for the moon.
He's like, you're pissing me off. I'm going to just crash this moon on you.
Nothing in this film feels like, it's like, oh, couldn't you have done that earlier? Unless it's like something that is like, I've been trying to hold myself back from doing this.
Yeah.
Or it could put other people's in harm's way. Or if it's just for a joke. Everything feels like it's more desperate every single time. Anyway, so the battle ends. Oh no, the battle doesn't end. Everyone's sort of wounded.
Yeah.
And then it's just Tony Stark and Thanos. Another great battle.
Oh.
Because again, kind of like Doctor Strange, Iron Man's unpredictable now. You don't know what he's going to do with his nanotech.
Good armor.
How he manages to clamp his foot to the ground, the Infinity Gauntlet, and like do it like a roundhouse kick or with a swipe or whatever. Anyway, it results with him losing his nanotech armor, most of it, because he's running out. Yeah. And then he gets stabbed by Thanos. Ooh, that was intense. Cause
I was clenching.
You knew he was gonna lose. Yeah. It was a losing battle, and you're like, someone, please come in and help. But no one did.
No one did.
And he's pretty badly wounded, not dead. Although I feel like he probably should have died from that injury.
Yeah, well, he used his tech to kind of heal himself up, but it's not fully healing.
No.
It's kind of, he just sealed it up. So
I bet Shuri can help him when he gets back to Earth.
When he gets back to Earth.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
So we'll leave it there at that. And then Doctor Strange willingly gives him the Time Stone to let him live. Okay, we'll leave it there at that.
Which was interesting, because back on Earth, in the ship, Doctor Strange said to Tony, he said, I will not risk your life, the kid's life, or my life to give Thanos the stone.
To risk the Time Stone.
And then, right at the end of the battle, Doctor Strange is just like, I'm going to give you the stone to keep him alive. And even that was just a bit of a... Okay, I can see the character development, but darling, please.
You're right. I think it's either to do with the character development, of course, but it might be to do with the possibilities he saw.
Yeah.
What if the one possibility he saw that we win involves Thanos getting all of the gems?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's just a theory, just trying to defend him, you know. But it's
Don't defend the bad guy.
Yeah, it's just
Don't fight the good guy.
Just an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. We won't talk about the very end because I kind of want to do that as one section. So let's move on to the next section, which we'll do Thor and the other Guardians.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to the beginning of the film, Guardians rock up, distress call.
Music. Sorry. The Guardians rock up, and there's music playing. As always, it was good.
Do you know what song it was?
I don't. But it has a nice groove, and I was dancing in my seat.
I remember... I knew the name, but I forgot it. Anyway. It's cool. Very Guardians. Yeah. In very Guardians fashion.
But they're rocking up to the distress signal of the ship from Thor.
Yeah, Thor's ship.
But right at the beginning of the movie, the introduction they have is a distress signal being sent from their ship. So that kind of leads into the Guardians saying, hey, there's a beacon, let's go there. But they rock up, and they just find decimated ship. Just nothing. So dead bodies flying everywhere. No Valkyrie in sight.
Of course. And just rocks floating through space.
Where it was.
Yeah.
And then Thor crashes into the front of their ship. And they're like, whoa.
And like, whoa! Yeah, and then they bring him on board. What was great during this scene, not just the fact that Thor has met the Guardians, which is still mind-boggling, it's definitely the humour.
Yeah.
Again, from Drax. Drax is doing a good job, and it's like, how's this dude still alive? And it's like, no, you are a dude. This is a man. a very muscly, handsome man.
And they're all just admiring how gorgeous he is.
And Gamora's like touching him.
Please stop touching.
And he just like drops his arm just defiantly. Anyway,
Drax makes a comment that Thor is like a pirate had a baby with an angel.
Yeah.
And he's a pirate angel. And I mean, it's true. He's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's really good to see that all the characters still are very much themselves, even with like new writers. They feel like they're characters, which I guess is a tribute, to their actors who know how to play them.
Yeah.
But it just feels like a Guardians film when they first show up.
Oh, that was good.
Anyway, Thor's awake.
Mantis.
Oh
okay.
yeah, Mantis.
I have to talk about Mantis.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, so when they're coming up to the ship, Star-Lord says to them, "All right, game faces or angry faces," and in the background you just see Mantis putting on the biggest grin, reaching out her teeth and just being like, "Argh." And what I love about Mantis is she's actually a praying mantis. Like, we go to when Thor is on the ship and she's just woken him up. If you look behind Thor, you can see she's just there with her little hands up front doing like a little pincer movement. And she's just crouched like she would be if she was an actual praying mantis.
She does it in the next scene.
She does it in the next scene. She's fantastic.
Yeah. I remember pointing that out to you, or like we were just mentioning it, and they're like, "Oh, look at Mantis." And he's like, "Okay." One thing I quickly forgot to mention the last one, when they nearly got the Infinity Gauntlet off the first time.
Oh yes.
And Mantis had to jump on Thanos' head and like soothe him down. Hey, she's useful.
She's useful.
That's something I guess I'll mention that when we get to Thanos' arc.
Yeah, because
I guess
Star-Lord reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah, they basically decide to split up.
Yeah.
Thor and the Guardians.
Thor,
and Rocket and Groot go to get a new hammer.
Made by the dwarfs. I forgot the name of the dwarf star, but the dwarfs are there and they make it's what made Mjolnir.
Yeah. Let's quickly talk about what the other Guardians do when they go to Nowhere. Good to see Nowhere again.
Yeah. So Drax, Star-Lord, Gamora, and Mantis all head to Nowhere to try and get there before Thanos gets the Reality Stone from the Collector.
Yes. Now, when they get there, it's like deserted, and we get to the Collector's room, and Thanos has his boot on the Collector, and he's like, because I was excited to see what happened to the Reality Stone because
it's a liquid.
Yeah. We end up finding out that it's all fake. Nowhere's actually completely decimated.
Thanos has used the Reality Stone to alter reality and give the Guardians an illusion. It was a trap.
It's funny because, like you just said, the one thing I wanted to know, how in the world were they gonna make a liquid and transform it into a stone? Well, the question is they don't.
They don't.
They just leave it up to nothing. It's like, oh, he already did it. Like, oh.
Yeah, he could have. It's a liquid. But you could probably just get it close to the gauntlet and it would turn into a stone.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's probably what they'll say happened. I have to assume the Collector's dead because, I mean, he was just a projection. He wasn't even real. Which I guess is whatever. Oh, but when Thanos...
is in the fake reality, Gamora is actually able to kill him. She stabs him twice. And he's bleeding and he falls onto the ground and he's bleeding out. But she is in such emotional distress at that point because technically he is her father.
Yeah.
And she raised her. That's explored further on.
Yeah, of course. But it's emotional.
It is very emotional.
And then of course it's all a ruse. It's all fake. And then when he's got the Reality Stone and he's holding Gamora, and then he like turns Drax and like splits him up,
turns Drax into rocks,
and like shreds Mantis. That freaked me out.
I would have think, okay, are these dead now? But as soon as he used the space gem to basically teleport away, they reconstituted themselves and they were fine.
That was
intense.
freaking me out. I'm like, oh my god, like it's like that was the moment I felt there's no way they can beat this guy. He can just do whatever he wants.
Because back on the ship, Gamora made a promise with Star-Lord. He said, if Thanos gets me, you have to kill me. Because she knew the location of the Soul Gem. The one gem that we have not seen in any movie. And it's also in that scene that Drax has been standing there for an hour being really quiet.
Best joke.
He's just standing there. And they're kissing. And he starts eating a nut. And it's all crunchy. And they start looking. And he's like, how long have you been there? For an hour. I have mastered the art of standing still.
Yeah, I've mastered the art of standing so still. I've become invisible to the eye. And Mantis walks in and is like, hey, Drax. And he's like, damn it. Oh, okay.
That was a good one.
See, he's funny in this film. It's so good.
Yeah, going back to nowhere.
Yeah.
Star-Lord gets his gun and he's pointing it at Thanos. And then Thanos has Gamora held up. And she's saying to him, don't kill him, kill me.
Like
you promised. And he points the gun at her. Thanos is like, ha ha ha, you won't do it. Gets actually closer to the gun with Gamora and says, do it. And after some, I love you, I know, some things, he goes to pull the trigger and bubbles come out. Thanos has used the Infinity Gauntlet, the Reality Stone, to alter it and destroys his gun, turns into bubbles. No more death of Gamora.
I think what is good is that he Star-Lord committed to it, you know? Because most of the time it's like, oh, sorry, I can't do it, and the bad guy takes it, and it's like, well, if you killed me sooner, then this would never happen. But no, he did commit to it, but Thanos is like, yeah, no, I'm not having that. Which I found really nice. Okay, then they meet up with the Avengers and Titan, and that leads into that. Okay, now to Thor, Groot, and
Rocket.
Yeah, there we go.
Now, they're on a little mission of their own to get a new hammer. Thor needs a new hammer. Well, it's, his was destroyed in Thor Ragnarok. The beginning of Thor Ragnarok, I might add.
Yes, it was also destroyed in the trailer.
Yes, it was. And it's the only part of the freaking trailer I saw.
Okay, let's just on a quick tangent. Okay, we do not care.
Not so much.
If he loses his hammer in the first 10 minutes of the film, which,
it does.
He loses it very early on in the film. Like, who cares? We still know it happens.
It was in a trailer.
It's this,
major spoiler.
It's the same thing. Same thing happened on, I don't know if you saw this, but on one of the interviews that they did for Thor Ragnarok, one of the interviewers was like, so your sister's coming to kill you, and Chris Hemsworth was like, why did you say that? Why did you say sister? It's like, no one knows that, and it's like, and interviewers just like, oh well, like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't see that. And a lot of the comments was like, oh yeah, like they totally revealed it was his sister like months ago. It's like, no, they didn't. Like, they sort of hinted at it.
Yeah.
But if they don't come out and confirm something, I don't want to know about it. Same thing with Loki having the Tesseract. Yes, sure, it's obvious he has it, but we don't know. We don't know that.
He made a double take at the end of Thor Ragnarok. And we were under the suspicion that at that point, Heimdall had the Soul Stone. And we thought, okay, the reason the ship is coming for them is because Heimdall has the Soul Stone. Odin's not there to protect them. He can easily go get it. But no, that was pushed away, and Loki had the Tesseract.
Yeah, again, that was something that was in the very first trailer. Loki holding the Tesseract.
Yes, probably. Don't watch trailers.
Yeah, it was in the first trailer. He was, when he just held it up to Thanos. That was in the first trailer. It's just annoying. I don't understand who wants to know what happens in a film before they watch the film. It doesn't make sense. Okay, enough of that rant. Moving on. Okay, so we're traveling to the dying star.
Yeah.
Star.
The dwarf star.
The dwarf star. Dwarf star with the doors.
No. The giant fucking dwarfs.
Okay. Who knew Peter Dinklage was in this film?
Okay. This came as a bit of a shock.
Mm.
Peter Dinklage playing a dwarf. Now get this, okay? This is like super wow. Dwarfs aren't small. What? Dwarfs are freaking the size of like 3 Thors on top of each other.
What about
They're tall as shit.
What about his brother's 3 friends with the dwarf one there? What about him? He must be tiny compared to the other dwarves.
Oh, maybe he's just a deformed ass guy.
And he's only with the troop because he's like a Make-A-Wish Foundation. I've always wanted to be a friend of Thor. And it's like, okay, well, you're gonna die pretty soon anyway. So. Okay, this scene for me, even though we got Stormbreaker and Groot was actually useful for once.
Yeah.
This was the weakest part of the film for me, and borderline, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like the land of inconveniences. First, they arrive there, the Dwarf Star is completely burnt out. Then they get there, then Peter Dinklage has his hands melted together or something, or casted in iron or something. So he can't even forge anything.
But he has a mold.
But he has a mold, so I guess that that does make sense. But then they have to restart it, and then the beam's going, and then the beam just cuts off, and then Thor has to go hold the beam open manually, and then suddenly, once that even works, and they get the cast going, they don't even have a handle for it, and then Groot does come in and be helpful there.
And
but it's just can you just go there and just grab the hammer or something? It's just taking too long. I would have much preferred them to focus on other stuff than take up a bit of time with that. I just felt like it was just too long.
There were a couple things in this though. First off, the dwarves were who made the gauntlet that holds the Infinity Gems. Thanos.
Yes.
And Thanos killed everyone, turned off the star, except for Dimitri, the one dwarf that survived. But he cast his hand, saying they are his, and only his. But also, in the trailer because I watched them yesterday, I rewatched all of them, watched for the first time, not rewatched, no one, and noticed something. There was a scene that they cut out involving Thor grabbing the hammer and getting his armor all fixed up, getting a cape, and basically regenerating himself with his electricity, and then bifrosting to Earth. That didn't happen in the movie.
No.
All it is the hammer is getting electrified, some electricity flowing, Thor's hands moving, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's what
it's just like a tease, that he's going to get the hammer. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not a bad scene, but it's like when they cut to it, I'm like, oh, can we just go back to Captain America or something? Yeah. Or can we go back to Titan and see Iron Man, or just anything else? Just a little. Come on! It felt very, very slow. More. Anyway, what happens there is that the Bifrost and they teleport it to Wakanda, and we'll go to that side next, I think. Because I don't think there's anything else we need to say there.
Gamora has
that's going to be Thanos' story, and Thanos' story will be last. Okay, so we're going to move over to... This starts with Wanda and Vision.
Yep.
And
about 20 minutes into the movie, probably.
Yeah, they're just living the quiet life.
Yeah.
Having a swell old time. Wanda's leaving, unfortunately. And then suddenly the Black Order show up out of nowhere. That jump scare got me.
Oh, holy crap!
Crazy.
That was good.
They're the Black Order already there, and they're already stabbed Vision. He was at a disadvantage, which I thought was really cool. Anyway, they have a fight, and then they fall down. And suddenly Captain America shows up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, cool, Cap's here. Yay.
Wanda is working with Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Vision's working with Tony.
Yeah.
So Vision turned off his transponder to Tony, so he has no idea where he is. Last seen somewhere. And Cap and Wanda, they were in communications, but she stopped communicating with him, and he kind of went looking for it. When I watched it the second time, I noticed this because I had a conversation. But yeah, so Cap shows up. Cap.
Yeah, which is great. And then Falcon and Black Widow. Oh, pardon me. So Black Widow, because she sort of defected from Tony in Civil War, I guess she ended up in Wakanda as well.
Yeah.
And then they all take them to the Avengers facility, which is where War Machine is. General Ross is there. I actually had a thought, what if this is the film where he turns into Red Hulk?
Yeah. We don't have
it just crossed my mind because I thought, oh, he's back. So he's sort of, the actor's committed, you know? He's like, oh, we need you to appear in this film. Like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, is this going to be when he becomes Red Hulk? Finally. Of course, it didn't happen. I don't know if it ever will, but it's just a cool concept, cool idea to think about. And War Machine's there, which is nice.
He's, after the incident in Civil War, he's kind of got some tech on his legs helping him walk.
His robo legs. I mean, he's walking normally now, which helps the actor. And then, this is where they name dropped Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
Yes.
And how they mentioned that, they're not going to show up in this film.
They're on house arrest, apparently.
Yeah, they're trying to protect their own families, which from a world building standpoint, that does make sense. They're such small time heroes; they probably rather just lay it low, which I guess is fine. I mean, they're going to be in the next film.
Yeah.
Again, this is a two-parter, and there's a reason why it's a two-parter. We've only seen half the film, you know.
2.5 hours, and it was good.
So then Bruce is there, and then they talk.
Bruce is just there.
This person, then that person, and then they decide what they're going to do about Vision's Mind Stone. And they contemplating killing him, and then it's like, oh no, let's get it out of your head. And it's like, where do we go to do that? And then we hear...
we hear the music of Wakanda.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's so great. And then, we're in Wakanda now.
Yeah, we pan over a panther, and it's like, whoa, I wonder who this could be. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's
building up to something good.
It's just so good. Okay, we're in Wakanda. Black Panther's there.
They're getting off the ship, and War Machine and Hulk are talking. So Bruce Banner and this guy, Rhodey. There we go. They're talking, and Bruce asks him, so, "Do we have to bow?" He's like, "Yeah, he's a king." So they're getting closer. As soon as they get like right next to Black Panther, Bruce bows. T'Challa's looking at it going, don't do that. We don't do that here. He's like, oh, why would you do that?
And then Roy's just laughing. And the next scene, it's like when Shuri is like, why didn't you just do blah, blah, blah? And it's like, because we didn't think about it. So it's very funny.
It's good.
Okay, Black Order's back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm skipping a bit, but
okay.
We're sort of nearly there. Shuri's working on Vision. But Black Order's back. They got the protective barrier, and they're all sort of getting ready to fight. Really good to see the old Black Panther characters again.
Yep.
And then the alien creatures. Do you have any idea what they were?
No, I thought they were some sort of Chitauri.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of his army.
I thought it would have been cool to see the Chitauri again.
No, they were there. They've been in the entire movie. That's all the aliens.
Well, yeah, but like the army, you know. I thought it'd be a nice thing to come back and it's like instead of just like mindless drones.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Anyway, so they show up. They start and they're like a big battle ensues. This is kind of technically sort of like the big final battle, you know, even though it's sort of happening at the same time. Thanos versus Iron Man and Doctor Strange is happening. Again, it's really cool. There's not much to commentate when it's just a battle. No. You know. Because at first everything seems cool. Bruce is in the Hulkbuster.
Yeah, Hulk's not...
Because Hulk's not coming out.
Hulk's being a stubborn dick.
Yeah.
And Bruce is in the Hulkbuster and he's loving it.
Yeah, he's like, this is great. And then he trips over.
He trips over.
Anyway, everything seems to be going okay until they start getting the upper hand because they get the new weapons. And then Thor comes in. And
Thor
just
takes over.
Decimates. Like, Thor is just a little... is just like too OP. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of characters that are too OP now, so I guess it balances out. But Thor just just wrecks things, and it's so good to see him. I actually kind of prefer him without his long hair, honestly.
He's rocking it. He's rocking it.
It looks good. I feel like it suits him better now. I mean, like, his long hair looks good, but I think his natural progression is like, yeah, he looks better with short hair. Also, is his eye. I forgot to mention that.
I guess he now has another eye.
Yeah.
Groot gave it to him.
Mm.
He smuggled it off somewhere up his ass.
There was a theory that the eye that he gave him was the eye from the first Guardians film.
Probably.
Oh, no, sorry, the second Guardians film when Groot gets him the eye. Only problem is it's a different colour.
Yeah.
So, why not? But it'd be cool. That'd be great if it was. He shows up, just decimates stuff, and they look like they're winning. And they do sort of end up winning. Bruce manages to kill one of the Black Orders in the Hulkbuster because it's like, oh, fine, I'll do it myself. And Hulk doesn't want to come out because he's a little bitch.
Left arm. Another left arm removal.
Yes.
Keep him with the tradition.
Yeah, another one. What else? I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff. Okay, yeah, we'll get to the Vision bit. Yeah. Shuri does not complete removing the stone from Vision before the Black Order dude infiltrates. So Vision is sort of tumbling out of the building, and he's just fighting his way to stay alive. Yeah. Everyone starts to show up to try and help him, and everything seems to be okay at first. The Black Order is dead, but
Cull Obsidian.
What happens is, because Thanos has gotten the Time Stone, like, just then, he then uses the Space Stone, transports himself over to Wakanda, and now he's doing he's fighting his way past everyone quite easily, but
just pushing them out of the way.
But just long enough for Wanda to destroy the Mind Stone in Vision, which they've been tossing up for the whole film now.
Yep.
Again, they committed. They actually went for it. I'm really glad they did. Captain America put up a really good fight. I really wanted to hear some sort of like, it's like, oh, you're strong for a human or something, you know, like, because Captain America is like so cool and so strong.
He's actually holding the gauntlet like down away from Thanos.
What else? Oh, there's one thing I just want to quickly mention. I thought it was hilarious how how like when they're running to confront them, it's like pew, like Black Panther and Captain just like having a foot race.
It's just overtaking everyone and then just jump in.
And then just leap over the lake. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, it's funny.
I just want to see a running race between those two.
Oh, for sure. Anyway, then Thanos, of course, gets past. Vision Stone does get destroyed and he dies, but
big explosion, sort of. But
yeah, I guess that shockwave. But of course, Thanos just uses the Time Stone, which he just got, and reverses time, everything. And Vision is alive again. Here's something interesting. I didn't know, when Thanos uses the Time Stone, I didn't think they would do a Doctor Strange spell-like thing when he did it.
No.
I thought it was just going to be like, he just sort of uses it. Yeah, just like every other stone. But no, it actually is, I guess the magic thing is tied to the Time Stone, which is, I don't know, it's cool. Different. Anyway, so Vision comes back alive, and this was so much more brutal than I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect it to be this bad, even though I'm pretty sure like nearly everyone expected Vision to die. He didn't just grab the stone. He crushed his forehead in and ripped like this much larger stone right from inside his head.
All of the neurons connected to it, which Shuri was trying to like disconnect. He just rips them all out, and you can see them pulling away, and it's like, that's his brain.
And then you see literally all the color from his body actually just go away, and his eyes turn white. Like it's so.
They throw him to the ground, and it's like he's just an android.
It's so depressing and so brutal. I wasn't ready to actually see him actually die. And then Thor comes in with Stormbreaker to throw it at Thanos.
He puts the stone on the gem.
Oh, he puts the
first.
So he has all 6 stones. Thor nearly kills Thanos.
He stabs him in the chest with Stormbreaker, and he's pushing it in. And Thanos is trying to get those last words out, and he's like, "You should have gone for the head," and then snaps his fingers.
And then it just goes black for a second, doesn't it?
It goes black for a second.
Yep. And then film ends.
Yeah, because we don't want to see the rest of it.
No. And this is the hardest part. But we won't say it because we've got to do Thanos' arc first.
Then Thanos uses the Space Stone and falls away, leaving
Oh yes, of course.
Stormbreaker behind. All right.
Now, well, did you see how completely damaged and broken the Infinity Gauntlet was after that?
His arm too. It's like completely.
Oh, was
burnt.
it? I didn't notice the arm. I looked at the Infinity Gauntlet. That might be something tying into Avengers 4, but we'll get to it. Okay, we're gonna talk about Thanos'
Just
arc
the raw
now.
power required.
Oh yeah. Now I've said before that this movie is very much a two-parter, and I believe that to be so because this story is very much Thanos' story. It's his story of how he got the Infinity Gauntlet and how he beat the Avengers. Because a lot of people might be disappointed that, like, you know, Tony and Cap didn't meet up. Or
I'm pretty good.
Or just, like, other people didn't get to meet up, you know? And, you know, I was disappointed in that as well. But once I looked at it from a perspective of that it's not their story, it's Thanos' story. It makes so much more sense. And Avengers 4 is going to be the Avengers story. Their redemption how they win. Because I mean, if you think about it, this film did have a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning of where Thanos first gets his first gem. The middle is where he has all those troubles he must overcome and takes the rest of the gems. And then when we think that he might actually lose, he managed to retrieve that last gem and he gets what he wants, and that's it. Because remember, to Thanos, the Avengers are the bad guys. Yeah, of course. So. This is a very, very wholesome film, you know, from Thanos' point of view.
For him.
Yeah, for him. Okay, so
we're going back to the beginning of the film. Thanos' first appearance.
Actually, let's go before that. A week before that, specifically. Oh. He gets the Power Stone from Xandar. Yeah. That's his very first act.
We don't see this in the movie at all.
Nope.
Thor mentions it to the Guardians, saying... He decimated Xandar. He has the Power Stone.
And Star-Lord has that look on his face like, wait, the Power Stone? It's like, that's what we did.
Yeah. Anyway. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah. And then, what happens next in Thanos' arc?
So Thanos is on the Guardian ship. He's destroyed it. Everyone's dead. He kills Heimdall, kills Loki.
He gets the Space Stone from Loki.
The Space Stone. And... he's saying, as he kills Loki, he says, no more resurrections this time. And that hit me hard.
Yeah, like, you know, that's like, yeah, no more. Like, your mischievous reign ends here.
But this is the only, at the beginning, this is the only time we properly see him in his armor. And we don't even really see it because he's all dark.
Yeah, it's very
he takes off it all, and then he gets the stone, crushes it in his hand because it's the Tesseract.
That was
it's
cool.
Just a rock.
I really wanted... I was really curious, like, is he just going to grab it and just crush into a million pieces and get the stone? And he did, and he's like, just blew it away. Yeah, and that was good. Next, he just leaves everyone to die and goes straight to the Aether. And he gets that. We already detailed that.
We see him, and...
Now, this is when he takes Gamora.
And then we get a bit of a side story with Gamora going off.
So we're on Thanos' ship now. And we're having more of a heart-to-heart between Thanos and Gamora, which is interesting, which is definitely interesting. Something we didn't really get to see before. We just always heard all these bad things. But now we're starting to see Thanos as not so much of a bad guy. Like,
which is odd.
Yeah.
Because they're giving him a bit of, like, redemption. They're justifying his actions. They're saying, the reason he's doing this is for these reasons. He's looking for a better world, a better future. It's not going to work because of overpopulation, basically. And now in the comic, his plan was given to him by death. He said, your mission is to wipe out half the universe, like half the population of the universe. And he does that. He goes around, gets the Infinity Gems, and like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because this is sort of where Thanos' motivation is more explored. In the comics, yeah, it's because of death. It's because he's infatuated with death. He loves her, so he's gonna do whatever he wants for her. But honestly, there's just a bad character motivation doing something for a girl. It's just bad in any kind of film. Doesn't matter what kind. The idea of that we're running out of resources. We need. There's too many people in this universe. If we just eliminated half of it, we could all live in paradise. Yeah. And he's not wrong. But his method of going about that, killing half the universe, that's where, is wrong. And that's so much more of an interesting ideal for a villain. Instead of just like, oh, I'm doing it for a girl, you know? And then it's like, oh, Thanos wasn't the big bad, it was death, you know? It's like, oh, that's boring. Like, Thanos should be the big bad. And I was like, oh, that's so much better. I'm actually really glad they went with that instead of Death with the comics. I wouldn't care less if Death showed up or not.
Which, I'll get to that when things transpire.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you get to see the entire backstory of Thanos, technically. Like, not so much when he was younger, how he came to be, but more when he started out on his quest. His planet was overpopulated, not enough food, too many mouths to feed, time to clean up. Genocide.
Yeah, exactly, because it happened to his planet. It's so weird.
He's calling it mercy.
Yes, that's another thing. He is calling it mercy. Of course, it's not exactly mercy to the people who get the short end of the stick. But when you see how it's already happened to his home planet, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I would have much preferred for them to sacrifice half the people and save half of it instead of getting rid of all of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, I would never be the one willing enough to pull the trigger, but Thanos is. Anyway.
That's why he's the Mad Titan.
Yeah, that's why he's mad. Okay, so... And then we get the quick flashback scene of when he first met Gamora.
So he's on this planet. He finds a kid. He's like, oh, come with me, little child. Now, don't look over there. Here, look at this knife. It's perfectly balanced on either sides. And then in the background, half the population is killed off. The rest of them are fine. He's like, no, don't look at that. Look at this. Yes, now practice it on your finger. And that's when they meet.
Yeah, it's very nice. Because you can feel that he really does care for her. And that is sort of more expanded upon later. But we find out that Nebula still alive. She tried to kill Thanos by sneaking onto a ship.
She got very close.
But of course she failed.
Yep.
This was brutal. Seeing Nebula literally torn apart.
He's using the gauntlet. And she's actually... we see her from the front perspective. And she looks fine. Like, she's just suspended in some sort of stasis field. And then we get a side-on view. And she is stretched out. Like, parts of her are just flying everywhere. And he's using the gauntlet to torture her. Pulling her apart. Like, properly ripping pieces of her out. And it's making Gamora sad. She's crying because this is her sister. And she doesn't know what to do. And this is all a ploy just so Thanos can get the location of the Soul Stone. Because apparently nobody knew where it was. Gamora was tasked by Thanos to go find it. She found it. She found a map to it. She burnt the map. This is revealed in a little sequence between Gamora and Nebula, because Nebula is a robot, essentially. Majority of her is. And she's recorded stuff in her memory banks, and that plays out. Thanos sees it, like, where is it? And he keeps torturing her. Then she reveals the location to Thanos, and he's like, good. And then they go on a little trip.
Good. Yeah, okay, so they what is the name of the place? I knew it, but I was looking it up before we started, so I remember, but I forgot.
Boromir.
Anyway.
Boromir.
Okay, so they're on this planet where the Soul Stone is being kept. This was definitely like the most shocking part of the film, and part of the stuff that I was really, really hoping we would see is return from old characters. And this is a question everyone that I've talked to has been wondering. We finally get to see Red Skull again.
Red Skull's back.
Because everyone's been saying, oh, he was teleported with the Space Stone, and that was the most obvious conclusion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, of course he was, but where is he? Is he just gone? And then Hugo Weaving said that he never wanted to play the character again. And I was a little, okay, that's a problem, Because if he never wants to play the character, they can't bring him back, even though they've set up for him to bring him back. But they did bring him back.
It was short, but necessary.
It's all we needed, honestly. It's all we needed to know. I would have loved it though, if somehow, I'm sure everyone would, but if somehow there was just some sort of connection between Captain America, somehow, like if you think about it, because Thanos somehow knows everything. He knew who Tony Stark was.
Yeah.
So what if
Still trying to work out how he knew about Tony Stark.
Well, this could be how he knew about Captain America. If Red Skull was like, oh yeah, I was fooled by one Captain America of Earth or something, any kind of dialogue, and he's like, well yeah, that's where I'm heading next, you know? I'll keep an eye out for him. Anyway, it was so interesting to see that he managed to survive and was still alive, and he was protecting the Soul Stone now.
He's been there for over 100 years.
Yeah.
So, don't know what's going to happen. But he's burdened with knowledge of everyone that comes and goes for the Soul Stone. Now, the Soul Stone is super important to the Gauntlet, to everything. That's why it's right in the center.
No, that's the Mind Stone.
Yeah, it's on the thumb.
No, that's the Time Stone.
It's on the Gauntlet. Never mind. Shut up. It's super important.
Yeah.
But the price for this stone is a life. So, a soul for a soul. But not just any soul. Like, you could probably go in there like, oh, Red Skull, bye. Push him down.
And then he just floats back up. It's like, dude, I don't appreciate that. Come on, man. It's a dick move, man. Come on. Or no, it was just like, you have no idea how many times people have tried that.
That's why the Soul Stone makes me flirty.
Yeah.
Now, it has to be the life of one you love. And Thanos starts crying. And Gamora's laughing at him. He's like, haha, you don't love anyone.
You're screwed, you'll never get it.
And Red Skull just like, those are not tears for him. They're tears for somebody else. And he just looks at Gamora and we're all like, oh no. And
he does love her.
He loves somebody. His daughter. I suppose makes sense. He has compassion. She has compassion. That's him. She has strength. That's him. That was the entire thing covered. But then he does it. He grabs her and pushes her off the cliff. And he's still crying. Like, it is an emotional scene. The cinematography even shows that.
I think what's good about this scene in particular is the fact that it shows how good of a villain Thanos actually is. Because let's be honest, we've seen nothing of him. All the hype of him has just come from press talk. Like, there out of everything we've seen, there's nothing that was separating him from any other villain.
Yeah.
But throughout the entire film, he has this sense of like, I don't even want to get anywhere near this person, you know? Like, even when like they were battling him, and I was like terrified at the thought of any of our heroes getting close to him. Like, when they had him all pinned down, I'm like, just get the goal. Please, just pull it off already. Like, he's gonna wake up any second. That was like so harrowing, you know?
That was. And then in that scene, that's after Gamora's been pushed and he has the Soul Stone. Star-Lord fucks it all up.
Yeah, of course he does. It's his problem. He ruined everything.
They actually had the gauntlet off. It was like right at at Thanos' fingertips, and he just grabs it just in time. That's because Star-Lord starts punching him when they could have been getting the bloody gauntlet off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's dumb, but hey, it's kind of. I mean, I feel like that's the one thing people are going to not like about this film, but it is kind of in his character.
Yeah.
So I'll let it slide. But along with the fact that he feels so terrifying, even just thinking about him, he's so. Well, he's very human, I guess. And I don't mean like an actual human. I just mean in the general term. He has feelings. He understands how other people feel. He's empathetic. He's not just a cookie cutter bad guy where he's like, I'm just gonna destroy the world. I don't care about anything. No, again, like he said, he's doing what he's doing out of an act of mercy, because he's not a bad guy. He wants everything to thrive and succeed, but the only way to do that in his eyes is to destroy half of it, because he knows that something better will come out of it, and that's what makes him such a solid villain, even though we've never seen him before, because of that interaction he has and how just human he is.
He's a good villain.
I guess we might talk about it after, but he just happens to have the Soul Stone after that.
Yeah.
I feel like, even though I love seeing what happened to Red Skull, and I'm really happy that the Soul Stone didn't end up being with another Asgardian or somewhere else.
Just some obscure location that was previously shown in another movie.
Yeah. It just felt like it was just a little too just like, we don't know where to put this. Let's just put it on a random planet that we've never established before. You know, it was a little too just random for me. I would have liked it to be a bit more like, oh, so this is where it could have been. Maybe Heimdall got his powers from the Soul Stone, and they could have interrogated him to know where it was. You know what I mean? Like something a little bit more coherent than that, than what we got. But again, it's fine. It's such a small little detail,
and the movie works. So
it does still work. Okay, so now he's got 4 of them. This is where he heads to Titan. Has the massive battle with all the other Avengers on Titan. Yeah. Doctor Strange gives him the Soul Stone. Then he immediately heads to Wakanda, and like we said, this is where he comes and gets visions.
It destroys Vision.
Destroys Vision. Now we're at the end of the film.
He gets the stone, puts on his gauntlet, and as Thor has got the Stormbreaker in his chest, he snaps his fingers. Like, it has been building up to this moment from the beginning.
They've mentioned it all, like,
so many
everywhere.
times. And he just snaps his fingers. And in that instance, nothing really happens. It all goes blank. But we open up on a watery area, and Thanos is just standing there. He turns around, and there's a little archway. No building, just an archway, with baby Gamora standing on the other side of it. And she asks him, "Did you do it?" And he says yes. That's probably some more context in there, but that happens. That was... that's the aftermath. But one thing I noticed about this particular scene is the background. Now, the background is the same color as the Soul Stone. Gamora died on the planet where they got the Soul Stone. So that could mean that when she died, a soul for a soul, her soul was trapped inside the Soul Stone. Same thing sort of happened with Adam Warlock. He was inside the Soul Stone. And some things happened. So we think this is the possibility for what's going to happen in Avengers 4. She's going to amass something inside that.
Yeah. The likelihood that she's inside the Soul Stone when he killed her is pretty high. So after he sort of wakes up from that,
he's there, still stabbed in the chest by Thor.
But he's also, wounded his arm from the snapping of the fingers.
The gauntlet is destroyed. Like, it is crumbled. His entire arm is burnt too. Like, there are markings all over it.
And he just quickly gets the hell out of there.
He uses the space stone and
he's out. And this is where the big what the hell just happened?
This is hard hitting.
And then
there's thunderstorms.
The
noise is stormy.
So everyone's like, what the hell just happened? Wanda's over Vision's dead body, and everything seems to be kind of okay until Bucky walks up. He's like Cap, what's going on? And then he just disintegrates into nothing, and we're like, what? What's going on? And then I can't remember which one happens next, but I think Black Panther walks over.
Looking after his psychic. I forgot her name. He's gone up to her and
then he disintegrates as well, and we're like,
no.
At the moment I was like, this is not good.
This is not good.
I don't know how many people are going to die.
Quite a few did.
Then Falcon dies.
And then War Machine's looking for him.
And then Wanda also dies.
Yeah.
Which is a big one because she was one of the heaviest hitters, and now she's gone. I mean, I guess that cuts the morning of a Vision pretty short.
Yeah. Which
is good. I just let's just move on to the action.
She's gone. Goodbye.
And I think that was everyone in Wakanda.
A lot of Wakandans.
Oh, but a lot of Wakandans died.
Like,
but out of main characters, I think that was everyone.
Oh, well, we got Groot and Rocket.
Sorry.
Rocket's fine. Groot's
gone.
I
think that was everyone in Wakanda.
We don't know what happened to Shuri.
No, we still don't know.
She's still up there.
Yeah, I bet she's still there.
Thor's fine. Just had to make that statement. Because
now,
he's the last Asgardian as far as I'm concerned.
Then we moved over to where the other half of the Avengers are.
On Titan.
Yeah, and then also Nebula's there.
Yeah, Nebula's just there.
And then Mantis disappeared. Drax disappeared.
Star-Lord disappeared.
Star-Lord was like, oh, come on, man. And then Tony looked at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange's like, oh, I'm sorry, And then, I had to, or whatever it was. And then Doctor Strange floats away. And I think the hardest one for most people was Spider-Man. He's like, oh, I don't feel good, Mr. Stark. And he starts crying.
Oh, no. And then Spider-Man had the slowest fade out too.
Yeah, because I think they knew he would hit the hardest.
I know.
Because he's just a boy.
He's just a kid.
And then Spider-Man goes, so the only two people left on Titan are Tony Stark and Nebula.
Yep, everyone's gone.
And then the final shot is just of... Oh, no, it's like... one thing I thought was very heavy hitting was like... I can't remember who said it, was like, what the hell just happened in Wakanda? And Cap's just like a long 20-second pause, and he's just like oh god, because he knows what's happened. And then the final shot of the film was Thanos walking out of his sort of hut,
a little hut on a planet,
and then just feeling satisfied, like he did it, he accomplished his goal.
They alluded to that previously.
It's also what happens in the comics as well. Once he's finished, he becomes a farmer or whatever. But his goal he's been searching for his whole life, he's done it. He's restored peace to the world. And then the film ends there. Lastly though, end credits.
So there was no mid-credit scene. There was only an end credit scene. It was very short.
I didn't think there'd be a mid-credits thing.
It involved a particular one-eyed man and Robin Sparkles.
A one-eyed monster.
So Robin Sparkles disappears.
Yep. And then Nick Fury is just like,
oh shit. He grabs a little locator, texty thingy,
transceiver,
beeper, whatever,
communicator.
And he's pressing buttons, and he's like, "Oh, mother!" And then he flutters away, while people around him are fluttering away.
And then he drops it, and then it zooms in on it, and you can see beep beep
sending,
beep beep beep,
sending,
and then you see the Captain Marvel's logo on it. Who knows? I don't know what the hell that's gonna mean, but we'll find out.
A lot of people were just like, "Who's that?"
Okay. I think that's pretty much the whole film. And so we sort of detailed our thoughts along the way of what we thought of everything. Now I would like to get into just a couple of things I would have liked to have seen a little differently. And the only one I can really think of, a big one, is why didn't Heimdall have the Soul Stone? And we sort of already explained why we think that. Yeah. And it's it would have been cool if he got his powers from the Soul Stone and he had to and Thanos had to interrogate him to find out where it was. I feel like that would have worked better than Gamora just knowing where it was. But it felt very obvious that Heimdall should have been the one who had it. And here's the reason why I think he didn't. Because from a I guess just a storytelling point of view and script writing, it's too convenient for Heimdall to also have an Infinity Stone. Yeah. There's too much going on. They're all too central to each other. And he'll end up having 3 Infinity Stones in the very first act. Which, again, is just too much. It goes too quickly. But from sort of just a world-building point of view, and if we're not looking at this from a movie basis, we're just looking at it as a world that exists, it makes more sense for Heimdall to have it. Because because it logically works best with his character. Also, did you get the name of the planet? Did it start with an H?
Oh, I'm not so sure.
Because then what did start with an H? Sacrifice. It doesn't. I don't know what. Oh, like a hill, because it was on a big hill. What started with an H? If the planet doesn't start with an H, then I guess Thanos' theory doesn't work.
Nidavellir
Mm.
is the plane where they got the the hammer.
And
Just looking.
that's okay. But I'm sure you can understand what I'm sort of getting at. Even if Heimdall wasn't the possessor of the Soul Stone, it would have been nice for him to know the location of it for where he was able to look through souls. That might still be canon, you know? It might still be canon that he used the power of the Soul Stone inside of him to look into other people's souls, but it was disappointing that he wasn't the reason why Thanos ended up finding the Soul Stone in the endgame. That's one of the only things I feel like I would have changed substantially.
Yeah.
I really can't think of a whole lot else. Because it's hard to fault a film when technically this is only half of the whole film. Because there's so much more that we got to talk about, which we'll move on to what we think of Avengers 4 soon. If you're still searching up the name.
Yeah, I can find it.
Okay.
I'll find it eventually. But one thing I want to just comment on is the reason Thanos is attacking now, of all times. Why? I had a theory, and it has a lot to do with powerful entities in previous movies dying. So you've got Ego, the father of Star-Lord, Peter Quill. You got Odin, who is an incredibly powerful Asgardian. And the Ancient One of Earth, the Sanctum Sanctorum, then, Magic. These three are all dead. They've passed on. And they are incredibly powerful. Like, they probably could have taken on Thanos and wiped him out. Simple. All three of them together probably would have destroyed him. So I think it makes more sense that he's attacking now because they're all dead and he's got a window of opportunity.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Something else I just quickly thought of. There are a couple of lines of banter that I wish were in the film. Like I said, I really wish there was some line of banter about Captain America coming from Red Skull and Thanos learning about Captain America from him.
Yeah.
But there was one other line I really wanted. I really wanted Thanos to say something to Loki about, you failed me once before. It's not surprising that you've done it again.
Yeah.
Or just something to be like he doesn't forget, you know? And, that's sort of why he kills him. It just felt like he killed him because, no more tricks, you know? It's that doesn't feel like a strong enough reason, even though he's just a douchebag. That's just some of the stuff I would have liked to have seen. A lot of the banter between Doctor Strange and Iron Man was fantastic.
Oh, that was.
Because it just felt like Iron Man and Cap again, you know? The serious one and the jokey one. But I think we're just about ready to move on to Avengers 4. I think we've talked enough about this film. We've talked for about an hour and 20, roughly, minutes. Just about the film and how it sort of plays out. I mean, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I love it. But again, it's so very much just part one. And part one is Thanos' film. I already explained that. Part two has to be about the Avengers, all the Avengers coming together. Hawkeye and Ant-Man were in the last film, they're going to be in this film. Now, I don't quite know how Avengers 4 is going to start, because if anything, I have much little knowledge to what is going to happen in Avengers 4 than when I did in this one. Because this one, I'm like, I don't know how it's going to play out. Yeah, we'll get Infinity Stones, yeah. But in Avengers 4, I was like, maybe it'll be the Skrull thing because Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll be Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
But now, now that I know what's happened, I'm like, I really don't know.
What's going to happen?
I now don't know because I know there's a lot of my previous theories aren't going to work. However, I have seen a couple set photos from Avengers 4 and that has led to a couple of new theories. So if you don't want to know about any of these set photos for any reason, that's perfectly fine.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, you're stuck now. You have to keep watching.
Damn.
But yeah, I would just suggest just not listening to the next bit in case there are any spoilers. I mean, they're set photos, so technically all of this, well, what we've seen is confirmed, but that doesn't mean what we think is going to happen is confirmed. You get the idea. You're smart enough to figure it out. Okay, so we're going to move on now. In the set photos, we see the cast in their Avengers 1 costumes. Captain America doesn't have a beard anymore. They look like how they did in Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Which has led to two very prominent theories. One, they travel back in time using the Time Stone. Or two, they travel to an alternate reality with Doctor Strange and the multiverse. The problem is Doctor Strange is dead. So either another Doctor Strange from another multiverse, another universe just comes in and is like, oh, hey, do you need any help or whatever? Or
poor writing.
Or somehow, because Thanos has completed his goal of destroying everything, he doesn't need the Infinity Gauntlet anymore, or the Infinity Stones. So the Avengers plot a mission, the ones who are left, to go over to wherever Thanos is, steal just the Time Stone, and they try going back in time, back to the first Avengers film, to try and manipulate something Loki did, to stop him from opening a portal with a Tesseract, or grabbing the Mind Stone early to prevent Vision from ever having it. You get the idea. It's just, it could be anything that they choose to do. But it feels like that's sort of the logical place they're going to go. Because again, Thanos is done. Thanos' job is finished. I doubt Thanos expects all of them to come after him. Because they're already, like, yeah, his goal is achieved. He's relaxing. He's living the time of his life. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like Nebula and Iron Man are going to hop in the ship that Nebula took to arrive and head back to Earth.
If it's not completely destroyed.
Not completely destroyed. And figure a way how they can steal the Time Stone and go back in time. I've said my thing.
Yeah.
But, do you want to say something?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't want to
If that's if it's a time travel story. If it's a multiverse story, this could be really, really interesting. Because, of course, Ant-Man and Hawkeye are going to be in it, and they can easily travel back in time. But if it's a multiverse story, could you picture basically Avengers 1, the events of Avengers 1 happening
with a completely different cast.
But with a completely different cast, or characters that were introduced in movies later. Like, what if Ant-Man and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man had already been established?
And Squirrel Girl!
Yeah, by the time Avengers 1 was around. And in an alternate universe, they probably would have been. And that would be great to see. Imagine watching Avengers 1 again, but with all these new characters. Anyway, those are the possible ideas of what I would like to see in Avengers 4. And I think that'll be really cool. And again, we're definitely going to get characters, all the Avengers meeting up in the same place. I don't know how, because half of them are dead. But again, time travel and multiverse could help that. And if it's the multiverse, I mean, everyone's been saying this. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. They could bring in their Fantastic Four and X-Men if it's a multiverse story. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're smart enough to do that. Yeah. That's my take on Avengers 4, what I might like to see. Do you have anything in particular? We haven't mentioned anything about Captain Marvel yet.
No. Well, between now and Avengers 4, we have Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Both coming out. So, potentially, Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place during Infinity War.
Yep.
That's one theory. But we know that Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s. And spoilers for anyone listening, it has Nick Fury and a younger Agent Coulson. Thank you. But it's also going to feature Ronan the Accuser.
Oh, is it now?
Oh, that's right. I've read all this. It's gonna.
I haven't read anything about the film except the fact that the Skrulls are in it.
Okay, it's gonna feature a Kree versus Skull war.
Oh, that's cool.
And how she becomes the most powerful entity. She's gonna take him out, basically. But yeah, and a young Agent Coulson. And he's going to be... Agent Coulson and Nick Fury are going to be introduced to this world of, nothing is not as it seems. And so it kind of builds on towards Iron Man when he makes his appearance, Avengers and all that.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know where Captain Marvel exactly has been all this time. Again, that's just a question we're going to find out when the movie comes out.
Probably in hiding.
Yeah, or something like that.
Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel. She's hot. Just gonna put it out there.
Also, Ant-Man and the Wasp, you're right. I feel like that there's no conceivable way it can come out after Infinity War. Because Avengers 4 has to pick up immediately after Infinity War ends. And it just doesn't make sense for them to be running around taking on a low-tier villain when literally the whole universe is
falling apart.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So it either has to happen before Infinity War or during Infinity War. Plus, I think it happens before Infinity War only because it was never announced when all the other films were announced. It was announced later in the schedule, and it's like, oh, maybe we should put an Ant-Man film in here. So I think that's why it's like, oh, they never planned for there to be an Ant-Man film between the Avengers films. And then it's like, oh, well, this is the most logical spot to put a film in. May as well just put it here and just set it beforehand. But again, we will find out, because I do not know.
And if anyone has seen the promotional poster for Ant-Man and the Wasp, it is fantastic. Aaron, can you please put that in there?
Is it just the tiny one? Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Nice and easy.
5th of July. 5th of July.
It's really soon.
Good.
It's crazy thinking that Black Panther is still in cinemas when Infinity War is out.
Yeah.
And it's probably it might even be the same thing for Infinity War.
Oh, probably.
Because Infinity War, if anything, is going to be in cinemas for a very long time.
I've already seen it once, and I'm planning again to see it on Monday.
I need to see it the second time. I really do.
Next 3 days.
Yeah, I really don't think there's much else we can talk about.
No.
We've exhausted ourselves. We're going to miss something, I'm sure. But I mean, you always do.
Yeah. But we've covered a crap load of stuff, an hour and a half of talking.
Yeah. I think there's definitely enough to sort of give people their fix on this film.
If we add an extra hour to this, we've got the entire movie covered.
Yeah,
scene by scene.
That's another. I actually was surprised at how well I remembered every scene in this movie.
Oh, it's because it's very memorable. A lot of it is.
But yeah, I have to see it again to see what else I missed. But yeah. Well, we thank you very much for listening to our little podcast.
I'm proud of you if you lasted this long.
Yeah.
Mwah.
If you can stand our voices for this.
It's terribly lovely.
Well, I'm glad. I possibly might have more Avengers Infinity War videos coming out. If I do, we'll check them out. But I don't know. But if not, that's all good. Thank you once again for watching. I'm Cameron. I never introduced myself.
I'm Jayden.
Yes,
I introduced myself, but I didn't.
I'll put our names in the beginning.
Hey.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Ciao.